Welcome to the channel, where today we dive deep into a mystery that has stunned the world of coin collectors, economists, historians, and treasure hunters alike, a mystery that begins with an ordinary-looking coin, a 2010 1-cent piece, and unravels into a story so unbelievable, so riddled with twists, secrets, and sheer suspense that by the end, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Because what if we told you that a single penny, minted in 2010, you might have unknowingly tossed into a tip jar or left at the bottom of a drawer, is today valued at an astonishing $12 million. Could such a small, insignificant coin truly hold the key to one of the greatest hidden treasures in modern history, or is this all just a legend fueled by obsession, conspiracy, and a desperate chase for the ultimate find? Picture this: it's 2010, the Lincoln Shield cent has just been introduced by the U.S. Mint, replacing the bicentennial series from 2009, and on the surface, there seems to be nothing unusual. Billions are struck, distributed nationwide, and quickly circulate, barely noticed, barely remembered, but somewhere, amidst this flood of copper-plated zinc coins, a tiny batch is released unlike any others. A batch marred by anomalies so strange and so precise that experts still debate whether they were the result of a catastrophic mistake or a deliberate act by an unknown insider working deep within the Mint's most secure facility. And it's from this elusive group that the legendary $12 million 2010 penny emerges, a coin that defies all logic, all expectation, and all known production records, raising urgent questions. How did it come to be? Why is it so rare? And why have governments and collectors gone to such lengths to suppress its details? The tale begins in Denver, where a whistleblower, once a Mint employee, would later reveal in a sealed deposition that during routine maintenance in late 2009, a series of calibration tests on experimental dies produced a number of off-design cents struck not on the intended planchets, but on leftover bronze blanks from decades past, blanks that were never supposed to exist, let alone be used, but somehow, amid a frenzy of holiday production pressure, these blanks were fed into the automated striking chambers, resulting in several coins with dramatic misalignments, double designs, date anomalies, and metallurgical inconsistencies never before catalogued in the modern penny series, and before the error could be detected, they had already been mixed into circulation, hidden in plain sight, their value unknown even to the employees who packaged them, then vanished. Until one surfaced at a North Carolina estate sale in 2014, found in a child's old coin jar by a local antique dealer, who at first believed it to be a novelty, but soon realized he held something far more significant when the coin failed every basic test, its weight too heavy for post-1982 cents, its composition entirely bronze, its design subtly shifted and misaligned, with Lincoln's bust showing the faintest shadow of a double strike and the reverse shield seemingly thinner than standard. And when submitted to an expert panel of numismatists, it triggered a frenzy the likes of which had not been seen since. The discovery of the 1943 copper penny, sparking endless speculation about its origins, its purpose, and how many might exist. Some say just one, others believe as many as 12 were struck, with less than 3 ever confirmed, making them not just rare but mythical, and yet the stories only deepen. A retired Mint security officer claims to have seen one being smuggled out in a technician's lunchbox. A former Treasury Department auditor insists that documentation for the experimental die batch was deleted from internal logs weeks after the minting, and one anonymous tip-off suggested that a high-level cover-up was launched to prevent news of the flawed coins from impacting confidence in U.S. currency stability. And as these coins began surfacing in obscure auctions, usually disguised in lots of low-value coins, collectors began whispering of a ghost series, pennies that never officially existed, never recorded, but known by the faint trace of irregularities detectable only to the trained eye, a shadow minting event that had created the rarest U.S. coin of the 21st century, and now, the most complete example, authenticated by 3 independent grading services, with the bronze composition verified via spectrographic analysis and die errors matched against obscure prototype designs never released to the public, has fetched a jaw-dropping $12 million from a private collector who remains unnamed, rumored to be a reclusive billionaire with a passion for mint errors and forbidden artifacts. But why would anyone pay such a sum for a coin worth just 1 cent on its face? Because this isn't just about numismatics, it's about history, mystery, power, and the thrill of uncovering what no one else was supposed to find, a treasure that slipped through the cracks of the most secure minting system on Earth, a coin that was never meant to exist, and yet here it is, defying every rule, every probability. And if one such coin could exist, what else might be out there, hiding in old coffee cans, bankrolls, and childhood collections forgotten in attics? Could there be more 2010 anomalies waiting to be discovered? Is there a pattern to their locations, their appearances, their characteristics? One numismatist believes the die rotation seen on one sample hints at a third-shift production error caused by a malfunctioning collar die, while another suggests these were intentional trial strikes created during secretive tests of alloy behavior under retroactive designs, and yet others whisper that these were smuggled intentionally, a form of protest by an insider enraged at cost-cutting measures that eliminated the last traces of copper from US cents, and now, with one of these rare coins enshrined in a climate-controlled vault, insured for more than most mansions, collectors are scouring flea markets, estate sales, even foreign exchange bins for any trace of a 2010 penny that feels wrong, looks off, or weighs differently, because the demand has grown so fierce that even verified forgeries have sold for tens of thousands to unwitting buyers caught up in the mania, and still, new reports emerge. A Michigan teen finding a strange scent in his late grandfather's war chest, a Florida collector claiming to have found one wedged inside an antique radio, a Chicago coin dealer receiving a sealed roll from a bank that contained not one, but two suspected variants, and with each new rumor, the legend grows, the value climbs, and the mystery deepens. Is this an isolated incident, or are we looking at the tip of a numismatic iceberg? A moment where a single overlooked mistake transformed into a cultural phenomenon that rewrote the rules of modern coin collecting forever? Stay with us as we uncover more layers to this astonishing story, and if you've ever wondered whether the change in your pocket could change your life, think again, because history has shown that even a 1-cent coin can ignite an international obsession and become the centerpiece of a $12 million mystery. And if you found this story gripping, unforgettable, and full of questions you need answered, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon because who knows? The next unbelievable coin might be sitting right in your pocket right now. Next 1995 1 cent, where today's journey may just change the way you look at every coin in your pocket, because what if the seemingly insignificant 1995 1 cent USA coin you nearly tossed aside was actually a treasure worth $4 million? Could a humble penny, the kind you've seen 1,000 times, perhaps even used to scratch off a lottery ticket or dig out from under your couch cushion, really become one of the most valuable coins ever minted in the history of American currency, all because of a small but world-shaking mistake at the US Mint? What if I told you that this coin, originally struck in an ordinary year with little fanfare, has become the centerpiece of heated auctions, underground collector circles, conspiracy theories, and breathtaking discoveries that have stunned experts and sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, forever altering how collectors view the Lincoln Cent series? To understand how a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could command a price tag that rivals luxury mansions and rare paintings, we have to step back in time to 1995, a year of routine coin production at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, when millions of pennies were being churned out by the hour. But somewhere along the line, something extraordinary happened, something so bizarre, so anomalous, and so statistically improbable that it has been called the "ghost in the machine" by mint insiders, and a numismatic miracle by those fortunate enough to lay eyes on it, because among the countless coins rolling off the press, a microscopic misalignment, a doubling of detail, invisible to the casual observer but unmistakable to the trained eye, was imprinted into the design of certain 1995 1-cent coins, resulting in what collectors now reverently refer to as the 1995 double die cent. But this was only the beginning, as whispers began circulating of coins showing doubling so pronounced and consistent across both sides that they defied even the most advanced minting theories, suggesting that multiple stages of die production failed catastrophically and yet somehow went unnoticed, raising questions of whether this was a freak accident or something deliberately overlooked by mint workers possibly trying to smuggle out the most perfect error coins in U.S. history. A theory strengthened by the fact that no official explanation was ever released about how such a severe doubling could escape quality control procedures that were already tightened after earlier blunders like the 1955 double die cent, and soon the 1995 cent wasn't just a curiosity, it was a legend in the making, with coin shops flooded by hopeful sellers, auction houses fielding calls from anonymous buyers offering blank checks for the cleanest specimens, and grading services inundated with submissions, while collectors began trading stories of finding one in circulation, tucked inside change drawers, or buried in old family piggy banks, each tale adding to the mythos, especially the account of a retired janitor in Kansas who discovered a pristine 1995 cent sealed inside a forgotten mint bag with 6 others, all showing identical and near-perfect doubling on Lincoln's profile, the word "liberty," and even the date itself, leading experts to speculate this batch may have been part of a suppressed experimental die test that was never meant to enter general circulation, a hypothesis that grew legs when declassified mint records from that era showed entries scratched out on production logs for certain dates in early January 1995, an eerie coincidence that only deepened the mystery, and when one of these coins, later nicknamed the Ghost Lincoln, due to the way the doubled image seemed to flicker under direct light, sold for a jaw-dropping $4 million in a private auction involving a European tech billionaire and an American sports franchise owner, the numismatic world was sent into frenzy, with demand for high-grade examples skyrocketing and rumors emerging of rival collectors hiring forensic teams to trace provenance and die markers, while at the same time counterfeiters began producing near-perfect forgeries using high-resolution scanning and laser engraving, prompting the Secret Service to step in and launch a confidential investigation into how these replicas were getting so close to the genuine article, which in turn led to a massive seizure of coins at an underground minting operation in Nevada, where investigators also found classified documents on mint procedures from 1995, sparking conspiracy theories that a disgruntled ex-mint employee had leaked design blueprints to foreign buyers interested in manufacturing collector-grade forgeries of the 1995 cent. A suspicion that was only fueled when an anonymous informant claiming to be a former quality control inspector at the Philadelphia Mint came forward with claims that at least 10 coins showing identical anomalies had been quietly removed from the official records and were distributed through off-the-books channels to fund a covert government project involving rare earth metals and high-frequency signal testing, adding a sci-fi twist to the already baffling tale, and just when it seemed the story couldn't get more bizarre, a young coin hunter from Ohio claimed to have found a coin with a rare third strike error on top of the doubling, effectively a double die over a broad strike, in an old coffee tin inherited from his grandfather, and when examined under electron microscopy, this coin showed peculiar striations in the copper plating consistent with a misaligned alloy mix, leading metallurgists to believe that at least a handful of these coins were struck on experimental planchets intended for another denomination entirely, perhaps the elusive aluminum cents from the 1970s, further complicating the story and drawing interest from both historical researchers and chemical engineers, some of whom began to ask, was the 1995 1-cent coin a one-off error, or was it part of a larger hidden pattern, a clue in a deeper mystery involving decades of mint experimentation, political oversight, and the occasional sleight of hand by those working deep within the system? As interviews surfaced with veteran coin graders who admitted they'd only ever seen one example each of these extreme double dies, and with auction records showing exponential growth in price year after year, from 5 figures to 6, then from 6 to 7, it became clear that the 1995 1-cent coin was no longer just a collector's dream, but a financial instrument, a cultural artifact, a historical enigma whose very existence challenged the boundaries of minting probability, and every new discovery only widened the rabbit hole. Coins found sealed in plastic bags dated 1994 but stamped 1995, insider-led discussions about experimental dies used briefly on night shifts for testing were resistance, and a bizarre 2003 numismatic conference presentation that was abruptly pulled mid-session due to what organizers called national security concerns, all of which has made this coin not only one of the rarest and most valuable in U.S. history, but also one of the most shrouded in controversy, speculation, and fascination, and whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just found an old penny in your drawer, the story of the 1995 1-cent coin serves as a thrilling reminder that sometimes the greatest mysteries lie not in ancient ruins or undiscovered tombs, but in the tiniest details stamped into the change in your pocket. So the next time you glance at a penny before tossing it aside, ask yourself, could this be the one? Could this be the $4 million piece of history the world is still trying to understand? And if you want more incredible stories like this, filled with hidden value, numismatic twists, and the unforgettable thrill of the hunt, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a single unbelievable coin story that just might change your life.